There are moments in life when words aren't necessary. Moments when a single glance, a gesture, or a smile speaks louder than any public statement could ever dream of saying. And for Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun, that moment came when fans least expected it. The setting was simple. An award show, glamorous but routine in the world of celebrities. Stars walked the carpet, flashing practiced grins for cameras, waving politely to reporters, and exchanging greetings with fellow actors. But somewhere in the middle of the flashbulbs and the carefully choreographed appearances, something unscripted happened. Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun crossed paths. It wasn't dramatic, not in the way that television dramas frame their encounters. There was no sweeping soundtrack, no spotlight just for them. Instead, it was quiet, subtle, almost fleeting. But it was enough. Fans who replayed the footage frame by frame noticed it immediately. Kim Go-eun, radiant in her gown, turned her head slightly as she passed. Lee Min-ho, tall and composed as always, looked her way at the exact same second. And then it happened. That smile. Not the one he wears for cameras. Not the polite, practiced smile of a man who has lived in the spotlight for more than a decade. This smile was different. It was softer, brighter. As though for a brief second, the world shrank down to just the two of them. Kim Go-eun's lips curled into the faintest grin in return, almost shy. And though they quickly moved on, pretending as though nothing had happened, fans had already caught it. The clip spread across social media like wildfire. "Did you see how he looked at her?" one fan tweeted. "Lee Min-ho's smile said everything," another wrote. And soon, hashtags began to trend. Hashtag Minoon moment and hashtag the smile that said it all. For casual viewers, it might have seemed like nothing. But for those who had followed their journey, it was monumental. Ever since the king, eternal monarch, whispers about their chemistry had lingered. The way they looked at each other during press tours. The comfort in their body language during interviews. The little inside jokes they seemed to share. Even after the cameras stopped rolling, fans couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story. And now, with just one smile, those whispers felt louder than ever. Inside the venue, the two stars carried on as professionals. Lee Min-ho mingled with industry friends. Kim Go-eun greeted directors and colleagues, and they posed separately for photographers. But even then, attentive fans noticed small details. When Kim Go-eun walked on stage to present, Lee Min-ho's eyes followed her. When the crowd applauded her speech, his hands clapped with just a little more energy than before. It wasn't obvious. It wasn't showy. But it was enough for those who knew how to look. Later, backstage, the two were spotted briefly in conversation. Nothing dramatic, just a few words exchanged, smiles traded, before they each headed off in different directions. But the smile lingered. That same unmistakable smile that fans had seen earlier. Softer when it was just for her. What made it so powerful wasn't just the smile itself. It was what it symbolized. In an industry where appearances are carefully curated, where every move is calculated to avoid rumors and speculation, something real slipped through the cracks. Something unscripted. And fans felt it. One fan described it perfectly. It wasn't just a smile. It was recognition. Like he saw her. Not Kim Go-eun the actress. Not Kim Go-eun the public figure, but her. And that's why it felt so special. As the night went on, the internet couldn't stop buzzing. Clips of the moment were slowed down, edited with romantic soundtracks, analyzed from every angle. Some insisted it was nothing but friendly respect. Others swore it was proof of something deeper. And then there were those who simply sat back, smiling, saying, "Sometimes love doesn't need to be declared. It shows itself." And perhaps that was the beauty of it all. It wasn't about a grand confession or dramatic reveal. It was about something small, something intimate, slipping past the careful walls they had built. Because a smile like that is hard to fake. For Lee Min-ho, it revealed a softness he rarely shows in public. For Kim Go-eun, it sparked a glow that fans recognized instantly. And together, for just one fleeting moment, it gave the world a glimpse into something that words could never capture. The days following the award show only fueled the conversation. Reporters asked polite questions, but neither star confirmed anything. Lee Min-ho, ever the professional, spoke about his projects and his gratitude for fans. Kim Go-eun, poised and elegant, discussed her upcoming roles. But neither addressed the smile. They didn't need to. Because the truth was already out there. In that clip, in that glance, in that unguarded moment. Fans knew what they saw. And what they saw was undeniable. Perhaps that is why their story resonates so deeply with so many. Not because of dramatic announcements or stage gestures, but because of the small, human moments. Because love, at its core, isn't about headlines. It's about the quiet ways it reveals itself. In the way one person looks at another. In a smile that carries more than words ever could. And so, long after the award show ended, long after the cameras were packed away, the memory of that smile lived on. Replayed. Rewatched. Retold. They tried to hide it, fans would say, shaking their heads with knowing smiles. But that smile. His smile said it all. And maybe, just maybe, that was the most honest truth of all. In the hours that followed, Seoul woke up to a storm that had nothing to do with weather. The internet was ablaze. Screens lit up with the sight of Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun walking hand in hand beneath the midnight glow. What started as a quiet, fleeting moment had transformed into one of the most talked-about events of the year. Fan pages shared the photos, editing them into dreamy collages, setting them to love songs, adding captions like, "This is what real love looks like," and they don't need a drama script anymore, their lives are the drama. Even international news outlets picked it up. Articles described it as the midnight stroll that broke the internet. Some called it confirmation. Others said it was a bold move. But nearly everyone agreed on one thing. There was no mistaking the intimacy in their hands. Meanwhile, behind the noise of trending hashtags and headlines, Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun sat quietly in his apartment, sipping warm tea, the city lights flickering softly beyond the window. Kim Go-eun laughed softly, scrolling through her phone. "We've become the world's favorite love story overnight," she teased, though her eyes betrayed a hint of nervousness. Lee Min-ho leaned back on the couch, his gaze never leaving her face. "Does it bother you?" he asked gently. She shook her head, setting the phone aside. "Not when it's with you." That simple answer carried more weight than either expected. It wasn't just a reassurance. It was a choice. A declaration that no matter the frenzy outside, inside this quiet space, it was just them. And maybe that was why the photos felt so powerful to fans. Because for years, they had seen fragments of this story. A smile on stage, a soft glance at an award show, the undeniable warmth in behind-the-scenes footage. But this time, it wasn't fragments. It was a picture whole. The more people looked at the photos, the more they noticed the details. The way his thumb curved naturally over hers, protective but gentle. The way her body leaned ever so slightly into his, trust written in every line. The way their steps matched, not forced, not planned, just instinctively in rhythm. Fans flooded comment sections with words like soulmates and meant to be. Some wrote that their hearts felt lighter just knowing.